Hello from the Orava Castle in Slovakia. I followed your suggestions when I was asking for what I should visit in Slovakia, and many of you suggested to visit this castle, so I decided to come here as a first location for my birthday weekend trip. Orava Castle in northern Slovakia is one of the most dramatic castles I've ever seen. It's perched way up on a cliff above the Orava River, and the first thing you think is, how did anyone even build this? Parts of it date back to the 13th century, and over time it grew into this massive fortress with courtyards and endless staircases. Fun fact, it was actually a filming location for the very first Dracula movie more than 100 years ago, which kind of makes sense once you're there. Walking through it feels like stepping straight into the Middle Ages, and the views from the top are just incredible. I have to admit that for a long time I was convinced that Orava was a city with a castle, similar to Trenčín or Bratislava. But recently, when I researched a little bit about this castle, I realized that there was no city called Orava. There is just like a small village where the castle is located. I think it's called Oravský Podzámok, and it's very nice. By the way, Orava is more like the area or the region around this castle. From the outside, the Orava Castle is one of my favorites, definitely. I think it's super fascinating, even much more than others that I've seen. But inside, I didn't like it 100%. It's a bit of a mix of different things, which are maybe nice, but more related to a separate museum. So there were some interesting rooms with some furnitures and things like that, but other things, I don't know, I was just walking by. But the outside of it is definitely very, very nice. That was just the first stop in my birthday weekend trip. Today is the 29th of August, which is a bank holiday here in Slovakia. It's the day of the Slovak National Uprising. So that's a long weekend, and actually my birthday is on September 1st, which up to last year used to be a bank holiday as well. But unfortunately, for the first time since when I live in Slovakia, and for the first time in ages, I guess, it's not a bank holiday anymore. It will be a normal working day, and that's why I decided to come to this trip from Friday to Sunday anyway. As you probably saw from the title of this video, the next stop will be Krakow in Poland. So we are now taking the car and we will go towards the Polish border, and then we will reach Krakow, which is actually not so far from here. It's around 2 hours and a half, more or less, which is less than from Bratislava to here. So we arrived in Krakow. The first impressions is that the city is very, very beautiful, and it's super, super hot today. So we have rested a little bit, and now we came to eat some burgers. So not the most typical Polish dish, but I don't know, I looked for this place yesterday already, and I couldn't wait to try it. And this is mine with chicken fried. It's like a Caesar taste. And the huge smashed burger. Enjoy! Good morning.
Good morning.
It's the next day, and we just went out to have breakfast. We took some pastries from a bakery that I looked up yesterday and cannot wait to try. So I got the apple and cinnamon one, and Francesco got the salty caramel one. Cheers! Right after breakfast, we joined the tour, something we always do the first time we visit a new city. It's the best way to learn the most important facts and stories. Krakow really amazed me. Everywhere you look, there is something beautiful. Old streets, quiet courtyards, and buildings that look like they are from a storybook. Walking through the city, you can feel the history around you, and at the same time, the city feels full of life. Krakow didn't just meet my expectations, it completely impressed me, as pierogi did. We stopped at a pierogarnia to get pierogi or Polish dumplings. They had a wall full of messages left by clients, some quite funny. I had the ones with cheese and spinach, so tasty, and the portion was just the perfect one to continue exploring Krakow. After lunch, we decided to come to the Kazimierz. I think that's the correct pronunciation of the name of the Jewish quarter here in Krakow. So far, we are liking Krakow a lot. It's really amazing. I knew it was a very famous, very beautiful, touristic city, but I didn't know it would be so nice. The old town is amazing, but not only the old town. There are so many beautiful buildings. It was quite spared during World War II, while other cities such as Warsaw, the capital of Poland, for example, were almost completely destroyed. That's also why up to this day we have so many beautiful original buildings and not just replicas or like new buildings. I think it gives this city a very beautiful vibe, traditional vibe, while when I was in Warsaw a few years ago, I really loved it, but you could see it was much more modern, you know. There were many huge buildings, modern buildings. It looked the opposite than Krakow, basically, really the opposite. Look how interesting this bridge is. This is, by the way, on the river Wisla, which is the river of Krakow. And I think that now we will go back to the city center. We are going to dinner. Now it started. I think it's the first time that I film with the umbrella. As you can see, I have the umbrella just in front of my face. But yeah, so we came back to the accommodation to relax a little bit because we had been walking a lot during the day. And then when we went out to go for dinner, it started raining. So now we are going to a place, a Greek restaurant. I know it has nothing to do with Poland or Polish food, but we had Polish food today, so this evening we want to go for something different. And since the other trip that we have done this year was in Athens, in Greece, we decided to go. Of course, I'm not expecting the same, authenticity. But yeah, you never know. Sometimes you get nice surprises. Anyway,